What's up, CATRP crew? I have been in this business for 5 years now, and these are 5 lessons that myself and the crew has learned being employees of a reselling business. It includes some mistakes we've made along the way, but also things that we wish we would have known sooner, and some very big topics that people sometimes don't like to talk about. So Alpal and I are up here, and we've been having these discussions for years on what the best methods of selling are, and a bunch of other things in a reselling business. But if you're new here, a little bit about our business. We mainly sell video games. We started by going to garage sales and selling on eBay, and then we started to sell on Amazon. Now we sell on Whatnot into Amazon, and now stuff just gets delivered to us because we've grown channels and lots of different sourcing avenues to where we are able to just purchase directly from you guys and people from all over the world to fund our sourcing. But a big thing in the early days when we were still down in the basement, we have a Discord community where people were asking us questions. One thing we started to notice was, on top of ourselves, other people were struggling to have inventory turnover. So a lot of people are like, man, I got 1,000 things listed. Even Chase and I remember we were like doing this push to get to 1,000 items listed in our eBay store. And then we did it. And then what? Like, congrats, the number bigger, but sales aren't up. Like, nothing was happening, nothing was changing. So I think there's this illusion with having a large eBay store, Amazon store, Whatnot, buy it now page, that you're actually doing a lot in sales, or that there's a direct correlation between the number of items you have and your sales, because Alpal, there's a lot more to it than just that. So yeah. What are some rules that we have for ourselves when it comes to inventory turnover, and maybe related to how we did the eBay challenges back in the day?
So the biggest thing is that we challenge people to sell 1% of their store each and every day. That way, by 3 months, your inventory on eBay is completely new, nothing sitting, nothing stagnant. And how you do this is relisting your inventory. That way it gets a new ID on eBay. It might be just taking some things off, maybe bundling some things together, making a new listing. The main ways to do this is to relist or sell similar your old inventory that's been sitting and create sales. Maybe it requires you to mark things down 50, 75, even 90% off just to move it, or maybe you just take it off eBay entirely, take it to a pawn shop or a thrift store or a Goodwill, garage sale, whatever it is, to get that old eBay inventory out so you can get that cash flow back to invest in new inventory.
And that leads us directly to our second thing that we've learned, and that is how important cash flow is. Because there's a lot in our business that we decide to hold on to, like here and over here and over here and on the couch, where this is just sitting inventory, and to be able to afford that, we need to have high cash flow elsewhere. Now, so the second tip is cash flow, but almost a slash says speed of cash. Mm-hmm. We've always done our business at the speed of cash, and that's controversial to some, but it's not a bad way to do it. It is always the way that involves the least amount of risk. Here's a couple of examples from our community where cash flow, by selling through the methods that Alpal mentioned, where cash flow was super important. One person, they had a local collection that they could have bought for about $5,000 and it was worth $12,000, but they didn't have the cash flow to go ahead and get it. They had a couple options. 1, wait to get the cash flow to buy it if it's still there. 2, say no. 3, maybe try and piece out the collection bit by bit. Or 4, take out debt and more risk to then buy this collection, then wait until everything sells to then pay off the loan, so you're profiting less but with a lot of extra headache around it, because you could buy a collection and the things may be super obscure and niche to where if you have a loan payment that comes up and you haven't sold anything to pay for it, we just stay away from all of that. But this person ended up going with option 3. The person was very understanding, simply because they asked, hey, I don't have enough cash for your whole collection right now. Can I commit to buying it in chunks 1 month after another? So in doing so, that $12,000 collection, I think they ended up selling it for around $10,500 when it was all said and done, because they intentionally priced it lower to get the cash reserves and the cash flow going again. So a good example is, let's just take this Earthbound. Okay, let's say we paid $2,000 for
By the
this.
way, that's just it's a funny flex. Anyways,
Yeah. Let's say we have $2,000 into this Earthbound. This is a bad example of us keeping cash flow. We are going to sit on this. We've been sitting on it for maybe a month or so.
Yep.
We're going to be waiting another 5 months. If I had $2,000 today, what could I turn that into in 5 months? So if I bought, $4,000 of inventory for $2,000 and then flipped it, probably do that 2 or 3 times before November. Instead, it's just going to sit here, so not really earning us anything. Again, if you guys like these yap sessions, we're going to try and do more videos like this. I think it's been a while since we've done them, but another good place for conversation is over in our Discord. Right now, it is only $3 a month from here on, so I think for a yearly subscription, it's like $30. So get into the community; it's great. We're going to be doing some eBay listing challenges again. But Alpal, that brings me to point number 3.
Before you do that, I just want to talk about just the cash flow, just to give you guys a good example of what cash flow means in this business right now. It's funny because if you don't know, we are in the process of building or starting to build CATRP HQ.
Yeah.
It's in the very, very, early stages. But in the last year or two, this business has started to invest heavily in collection pieces that are, it's not like we're collecting a $50 GameCube game. We're buying $1,000, $2,000, even up to $5,000 items.
I mean, that's just a sealed Pokemon channel sitting there, a sealed Pokemon pinball.
Yeah, I mean, you got all these graded handhelds here that are probably like $500 a piece. So obviously that starts to rack up for not having cash flow. And then this year we decided to, maybe it was maybe a year ago or a little bit sooner than that, we started to invest into Pokemon product. And now we're doing the November show that we're wanting to have, $500,000 of inventory for that. And we're saving up for the new build. So truthfully, sometimes I'm like, man, the Lord is blessing us in ways I don't understand. I don't know how we have even cash to operate the business at the moment.
Yeah, we have $200,000 that we're paying in upcoming deals?
Yes. So we're having to think about cash flow now more than ever, just to be able to continue to buy $100,000 collections, because that is who we are. We want to be the people who buy massive collections, and we are not stopping. But obviously we have to continue to get more creative because of all the things that we have decided to sit on right now.
And then one more final point for us, it's sitting on collection pieces and growing the collection, investing in Pokemon. For you, it might be you're paying off a car, you're paying off college, you're paying off your house, something like that. So try and apply that the best you can to yourself and your situation. Okay, so now to point number 3. Again, we're just kind of rambling. Let's change the scene. Maybe I'll come out here and I'll set. One big thing that we always talk about is staying diversified. So we're bringing up and we're buying all these collectibles. We're buying Pokemon games. We're buying Pokemon cards. We're buying Chicken Little for the DS sealed. We bought too many of those. Don't diversify into Chicken Littles.
Story for another day.
Yeah. But diversification looks different depending on, I guess, what we're talking about. There's 2 different things. There's how you source, and then there's how you sell. I think those are 2 very big contributing factors. If you're having a hard time sourcing, and you don't have enough inventory to stay consistent with your sales goals, then you need to diversify how you're sourcing. We have a whole video that we can link maybe at the end of this one about the 5 levels of sourcing, so I won't get super into it, but a quick recap is you can start at garage sales and work all the way up to buying online and doing retail arbitrage and buying worldwide collections where they're delivered right to you. Lots of different stages in the middle, but it is worth exploring other options. If you're used to just a boots on the ground kind of route where you're going to game stores, where you're going to pawn shops, flea markets, it might be worth trying to purchase stuff online. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's competitive. It is tough. There's a reason we don't really do that much, right, Alpal?
Yeah, it's very little that I go on and buy single items ever, because there are people who have such complicated and intricate systems to buy things. They have bots and programs and all this.
It's a competitive playing ground, and almost for that reason, I would say it's gotten I don't want to be a victim and say it's so competitive online you can't do it. I would say it actually gives you an opportunity to connect with people at a local level even more, because they're not used to I just don't think people are used to social interaction anymore, to be honest. So I think you can really stand out and diversify yourself on a sourcing front by also expanding not just the ways you source, but what you source. So I think that's kind of like point B here in this, is we typically do video games. That's been the thing, but we've always done Pokemon related like things. Cards are huge right now. The market is absolutely insane. So we're diversified a little bit into that. I think you can stretch yourself too thin on the same route, where maybe at the beginning beggars can't be choosers. For our $10 series, we started with we got a drum set and a universal remote. You just kind of have to sell what you can get. But I would say picking a lane and becoming known in a lane is usually a good thing. Specifically for us, we can scale our systems because we are so dedicated to video games, where you guys saw on this channel, we tried to diversify more into Pokemon cards and see what we could do, and we realized it's really hard to maintain, especially in this competitive of a market, which is why we kind of dialed back the content on that as well. But also, our systems weren't built to scale it. Like, our systems are mainly for video games and the sales of that, so we need to be willing to kind of expand our systems and our team to handle cards if we're to explore something like that. Now we can talk about diversification on platforms. So I never want us to be married to one platform if another makes so much sense to switch to. For instance, Chase started the business on eBay. Years and years, decades ago. What was it, 1961, something like that?
63, I think.
63. But Chase started on eBay, and I still think it's the easiest platform to get started on. Like,
do you want me to get started on that?
Sure.
I've said this many times on this channel before, but I think too many people are branching over into Whatnot that shouldn't be. The main benefit of Whatnot is for cash flow. Like, we're talking about cash flow. That's why we do Whatnot, because we're able to sell things fast and get more. But that only makes sense if you can constantly bring stuff in and you can sell stuff fast enough to continue to bring that cash flow in. If you're just sitting on inventory on Whatnot, you're listing it in the buy it nows, or you're just having people come in and you're selling a few things a show, those hours that you took streaming would have been better suited to list and source for eBay, because ultimately Whatnot is a great platform. It is still way smaller of a buyer base than eBay. eBay is still huge. I mean, we use price charting, guys, which is eBay sold data.
Yeah.
So we still base our business on what games sell for on eBay, not on Whatnot. So don't get on the hype train of Whatnot and get so excited that you lose sight on the profit that eBay gives you.
And to add to that, I have a lot of thoughts on Whatnot. I think we all do. If you guys want to see a video all about Whatnot, please comment all of your questions related to Whatnot down below. We can do a whole video dedicated to that.
Yeah.
But the one extra nugget I'll leave is it's not a bad thing to do eBay and Whatnot if you do it smart. I think Whatnot for some people is treated as a place where you can get eBay prices quicker, and it's just not.
Yeah.
Whatnot is a streaming platform first and foremost, where if you do not know how to stream and entertain, honestly, or have that consistent stuff that you can have returning viewers come by, it is very hard to, one, be discovered, but two, stay wanted by the community. So there's a lot more I could dive into about that, but going back to diversification on platforms, back in the day, it was pretty much eBay, and you would want to work your way up to Amazon to sell games on Amazon. And now there's like the Renewed program, and I think eBay has eBay Refurbished. They have their own program. Those areas are also pretty competitive. You have to be pretty well scaled in order to do those well, in my opinion. It doesn't come cheap, and it comes at a big learning curve as well. So if you don't have the cash reserves to kind of float some of your education time while you're learning how to sell on different platforms, I think it's pretty necessary to do that. Because, I mean, even though I've been selling on Amazon with Chase for 5 years, maybe the last 2, I really learned the ins and outs of how to list on Amazon and all of that. Like, there's so much to it, especially when you want to talk about ungating and everything. Again, we have lots of channels that talk about this stuff over in our Discord, so consider joining that. But as a whole, I think, if I'm just projecting the future, I do think it's incredibly important to really establish yourself as a brand. I don't want to, again, I can make a whole video about this, like the whole personal brand thing, but if you actually want to be a reselling business and not just have it be a side hustle, which you can have a 6-figure side hustle and still have, we know plenty of people that do it. But if you really want to stand out, I think live selling is really coming by storm. TikTok and TikTok Live, I just talked with somebody about onboarding related to that. Like, I don't think we're gonna do that because we like Whatnot so much, but the fees are like half that of Whatnot. TikTok's a big company. They could actually give Whatnot a run for their money if it starts to take off. I mean, so many people are already on TikTok. It makes sense that live shopping will kind of be integrated into that. You can already sell products through Instagram. To where I think, I don't want to be like Gary Vee with predictions and be like, if you're not live selling, you're screwed in the future. Like, I don't think that's the case. I think eBay's going to be around for a while. Amazon's going to be around for a while. Like, these aren't going away, but it's something to be aware of. So a mentality that I want to hold, I want to explore all future options. Like another one, transparently, we tried Encore, and Encore was kind of like a hybrid of eBay and Whatnot, and they were trying to bring a lot of people specifically into the video game category into the platform. So we wanted to experiment with it to stay diversified and be like, okay, is there anything that we can learn from this? So I'm yapping. I think what I want to leave you guys with is don't be afraid of other platforms. Even if it's Mercari for you or Facebook Marketplace, there's plenty of people that make a lot of money selling on those. Just be aware of what platforms make the most sense. 1, for your area, 2, for the types of products you sell, and 3, the lengths that you are willing to go.
Yeah, I think the last thing I would leave for diversification is the question you should ask yourselves is, can I grow what I'm doing now? If the answer is yes, maybe hold off on diversification. For instance, we had to do Whatnot because our sourcing grew to the point where we could not list this stuff on eBay. So we had to diversify onto Whatnot in order to keep this going. If you don't need to do that, don't just force yourself to try new things if you can grow that platform. Dabble in it, see what works, but don't follow anyone when what you're doing is working.
All right, now we're gonna change the pace again. We're gonna go outside. I think David has some thoughts on this, but point number 4, we're going to talk about your reputation, not just with who you sell to, but who you're buying from. So it goes both ways on the sourcing end and the selling end. So I want to talk a little bit about why reputation is super important. And Chase has been an absolute all-star when it comes into making that like a really founded principle in this business. So Chase has made lots of videos. I mean, we've had a lot of videos on this channel that are about sourcing and how to maintain good connections in the business. So it's kind of touching a little bit on all of our points with like diversification and cash flow. There's been many people through the history of this channel that we have always tried to treat as best as possible, and it's mutual. So if we find a pawn shop we really like, what are some ways that we can solve issues they have and they want to come back to us because we can solve those issues? For somebody like Michael Cash, Michael Cash has been on the channel multiple times. He mainly deals with gold, silver, jewelry, and things like that, and doesn't really have time as much for video games anymore. So usually a couple times a year, he still buys throughout the year. Now he has this hoard of stuff. So we solved that issue for him by him bringing us everything, and then we buy it, and he's happy, we're happy. But it goes both ways. We don't want to sell jewelry. I'm not going to lie to you.
I don't want to do it.
Now, pal, do you want to sell jewelry?
No, I don't want to research on it.
I don't either. So we find different avenues for stuff like that. When we bought Hobby Shop Ron's stuff, we didn't know the most about trains. We taught ourselves as much as possible. We sold a good chunk. And then we realized, man, it's really hard to do this and scale the video game side. So we need to make a sacrifice and maybe be a middleman for that kind of deal in the future, where we pass it along to somebody who knows, just knows more about it. So always be looking for people you can connect with at game stores, pawn shops, flea markets, all that kind of stuff. Boots on the ground really is going to be the best way to make relationships when it comes to that. Not exclusively though. I mean, you can cold call as many places you want to try and establish a relationship, and you can be very successful doing that. But just having somebody in front of you that you can talk to, that's like a toy vendor. I mean, well, okay, perfect example. Jesse, we met him at Torg, and he's now been to the barn 2 or 3 times. We've bought and sold to him to and from him many times. And that was a connection that we only could have made because we were local. We were right there. Another point that Alpal, I think you might be able to talk about a little bit. And then I want to get brother Dave's thoughts here too. He's just out here. We keep him out here now.
Hi, guys. Yeah. It's my office.
Yeah, you got his desk chair back there.
Yeah, it's nice.
But Alpal, what are some things that you can do to maintain a relationship with your buyers, the people actually buying from you?
I think Whatnot is a good example of this because we have to deal with a lot of cancellations and returns. And a big thing for Whatnot is cancellations are not required by the seller at all, but there are some sellers out there that won't cancel anything. We try to be middle ground where we're understanding of people and their cancellations. We're understanding of returns. If we make a mistake, we ship an item incorrectly or something got damaged, we always try to hook that person up to build that relationship, build that rapport, so they end up coming back and gain that trust rather than destroy it. And we lost that customer. And one thing is, it's just word of mouth. If someone has a bad experience, they are much more likely to tell someone about it if they had a good experience. Mm-hmm. So that is huge for us. We want to build that word of mouth because generally people who buy video games are going to hang out with other people who buy video games. They're going to bring their friends to Whatnot as well. So we want to just build a community on Whatnot. And that's another reason for Whatnot, because streaming builds a community. We try to be as fun as possible when we're streaming. Like, yes, it is a selling platform, but we try to be entertaining and build relationships. Like, we have a lot of numbers now, and we have a lot of inside jokes, and we mess around with people a lot to help people feel like we're like one of their friends, we're one of their buddies, and we're doing just a friendly buy trade together instead of just this person that they've never met before they're buying from.
And we've honestly made a lot of friends through it.
True, yeah. There's people we've met that we originally found on Whatnot that we now know in person.
Yeah, and so if you're not selling on Whatnot, it doesn't mean that you can't do this by any means. For some, it's including a thank you card in the orders that you ship.
Yes.
On eBay. It can be something as simple as that, just a little business card. Hey, thank you. Tiny little bit about me and my business and what we do, and maybe even that you're buying.
That's actually a good shout out to what we do now. We've been doing for maybe a year. It's called Gift Tag. We actually know the person. It's a buddy of ours that made it, and it's just a QR code that we put in a lot of our packages, and it's a personal video that we record. We're usually pretty silly. We're not serious. We do random things. Some people that don't know us are probably like, what the heck is going on? These guys are weird.
That's a really good.
A lot of people just they love it. They love seeing the randomness and us just joking around with them, and it's worth the extra cost to us because people really feel like they're connected to us.
It's not yes. It is so smart. Okay, we need to include. It's not sponsored, but we're friends with the owner.
Yes.
We'll put the link down below for Gift Tag. Do we have a referral code? I don't even care. Just
we can figure it out. We can figure out a referral code.
We'll figure it out. We'll get you guys some kind of deal. Hopefully, in the next few days, we'll have to figure it out. But it's a really good way to connect and put a face to who you're buying from. It's like if I'm buying from some random person on eBay, but I just spent $500 with them. How cool would it be just to hear what that money's going towards? Like, hey, I'm selling off my collection because I'm trying to pay off debt, or like in my instance, like I sent people thank you notes because I sold my collection. You guys saw, and a lot of people came and supported. So it's like,
I guarantee if you got that video, you're going to that seller and you're clicking into their profile and looking at whatever they have to sell.
Yeah,
like you are. I mean, just that you're gonna next time you look on eBay, you're gonna think about their seller name first, and you're gonna look it up and see if they have what you want. You're gonna compare
every experience you have after that to the experience you have, and like there's the saying, like it's not about you don't remember their words, but you remember how they made you feel. And again, we're kind of dipping into like personal brand territory here, but we're in a day and age where the story sells, and people will willingly pay sometimes 50 to 100% more on any random item, like women in clothing, for example, or like certain food products for that are targeted towards kids. If you provide like a really good service, it doesn't matter if it's more money, if you support the message and you support the person.
Yeah.
And so that's a good way to help build that, because if you're on eBay, you go, hey, I'm selling off my personal collection, it's going towards this or something. Again, just a random example. I might be more likely to support them if they have another game I want, because I know it's going towards something cool and it's another point I can connect with somebody on. Again,
and we're not blind to that. Also, in our shoes, because we've actually had people tell us this, there are people that will spend more on a game on our whatnot than they would on eBay, and they literally tell us that because they would rather support us, someone that they know and trust, rather than some person that they've never met.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're thankful for that. We understand, like, some people are like, oh, that game went for more, and they're like, thank you for the support.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
It's super cool when you get to see somebody like complete a set.
Yeah.
They're like, doesn't matter if it was like, I saw it from you guys, I'd pay whatever to get it just to complete my Donkey Kong game set or whatever it might be. So that's really cool. Or alternatively, they feel so connected to us that they might get a really, really good deal to where they bless the chat with the video game afterwards, because now it supports the chat and the community and us as well. So it's super cool. But David, do you have any other final, I guess, words of wisdom related to point number 4?
Well, my job here at CATRP is definitely the media side of things, and I think the biggest thing that you can do in your business is the most incredible commodity is trust. We've talked about that like crazy. The reason we make so many videos is because we believe that we are men of character. When we have great intentions for people, and we want everyone to see that through our videos, that you can trust us, that we are not some shady business. Like, we try to show all the numbers, all the everything.
Hey, it's me, David.
It's me, David. If anything, like, and this just goes for everything in life. It's just like, just be somebody that's worth trusting, and it's not hard to stand out. All you have to do is just like literally do what you say you're going to do, and we try to do that to the best of our abilities and represent Christ in that same way. So,
all right, and now we'll go back upstairs for our final point. Again, let us know all of your thoughts on this video. We really like hearing from you guys, and it's a lot of fun making videos like this. I'm gonna do my best to walk up the stairs backwards. But point number 5, something that we've learned big time in this business is that it can lead to burnout. And burnout is one of those things that, I don't want to say it never goes away, but it can come back up. You get what I'm saying, Pal? You kind of tracking?
I think so.
Okay. I'm also
Keep going.
we're carefully walking up the stairs real slow. But burnout can happen, I think, for many, many reasons. I think a good way to see how easily you can get burnt out, I don't want to sit here, I want to sit on the couch. For me personally, is if I'm working towards something without a goal, I am more likely to be burnt out. So something that we like to do in this business, and I try to do in my personal life as well, is pick my goal. What do I actually want to achieve? And then work backwards from there. If my goal is to, say, make $100,000 through reselling, like, you got to be a little specific here. What do I need to do every month, every week, every day to get there? And then you need to ask yourself, what skills do I need to get there? Are there any prerequisites that I need to hit first? Are there any lessons I need to learn, people I need to talk to? And so you kind of work backwards from your goal and what the heck? Sorry. There's just toys laughing at us.
Something just made a noise down there. I don't know what it was.
This is the fun ADD part of the thing. But pretty much working backwards from your goals to figure out where you're going, always having that vision of where I'm going helps me prevent burnout, because I remember the reasoning for why I'm here. I remember the reason for the stress, the struggle, the burden that I can feel. And remembering it's all for this end goal that I have, and it gives me motivation to get there. It gives me motivation to grow, to stretch myself, to learn the things that I haven't previously learned to get there, or do the thing that I've been scared to do to try and get there. Specifically in our business, when we were there, Pal in the basement, just the day-to-day grind, listing eBay items, and we're like, for what? Not that we were unhappy with what we were doing. We were getting to sell fun games all the time, like looking at complete and box retro games. I wish you guys had a better background to look at, but shelves collapsed.
Yeah.
We're kind of in disarray right here, so maybe I'll sit down. We were in the basement, and we were listing stuff when suddenly the idea came for building a barn. What if we built a new space? We needed space. We needed to stretch and set a goal and work backwards from there. Really, it was that goal in mind, that goal that came to be because we bought the original game barn, which in order to sell all of that stuff, the prerequisite was hiring Alex to make it so we actually could. The prerequisite was learning how to sell on Whatnot, because Whatnot was just coming up. And like, we had to learn a lot to be able to do that. And now we're in this new phase where our goal isn't just to build CATRP HQ. I don't know how much we've shared, but it's to build storage units and to give all of the profit to people in the community or like friends, family that are struggling. We have lots of ideas on what we want to do, but like that's the end goal. And so we have a great motivation to get there. A next necessary step to be able to get there is to build this HQ so we can continue to serve you guys better, so we can continue to serve everybody that sells to us better, and to everybody we are selling to so we can serve them better. But that requires more space, and that requires a lot of money. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to say find what motivates you, because Alpal, you have some good thoughts on motivation versus discipline typically.
Yeah.
You want to share?
Well, I have some other thoughts as well on burnout.
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple things I think of is, one, you have to make sure that your bucket is full. And what I mean by that is, we're not made to work 24/7. I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of successful people that work 100-hour weeks every week. Truly, for most people, that is not sustainable, and you want to fill your bucket by having times with friends, having time with family, having time for yourself, to work out, to have fun,
play some video games.
To play some video games, gosh darn it, like that's what we do here. Well, we don't play, you know what I mean. Like, fill up your bucket, that way you have enough to empty it out into your work, into reselling, into what you do, so you have the energy. And another thing for burnout is just having proper expectations. For instance, there can be a lot of people who get into this game and they think I'm so excited to find all these deals, find all the games, go out to garage sales, hunt at thrift stores, buy things online, and they don't realize that might be like 10, maybe 20% of reselling. The rest is testing and cleaning and shipping and listing and dealing with returns and frustrated customers and all the stuff that can really drain you. But if you go in with a proper expectation of, okay, I know that this is going to be what it is, and you can think of other things to make those more fun. You could listen to podcasts, listen to music, maybe bring on another member. I don't know, whatever you need to do, but just have that proper expectation in your head is really going to help you not burn out. We think a lot of people are disciplined that are successful, but really they're just very planned and systematic. The more systems and plans that you create in your life, the less disciplined you actually have to be. If you write down that you're going to wake up every day at 5:30, that you're going to do this workout, and that you're going to go to work at this time, and then at work you're going to do this, this, and this, you don't need motivation or discipline to do that. You just do it. You don't have to think of it to do it. And also creating habits. The more habits you create, the more mental strain you take away from your brain, because you're not having to teach yourself to do it or to think about doing it. It's just like brushing your teeth. No one gets stressed out about brushing your teeth because it's just, you don't even think about it.
It's something you do. You have a time that you do it.
It's something you do. We don't have to think about walking. We don't have to think about breathing. We don't have to think about... When's the last time you really thought about moving the controller in your hands? You just know how to do it because you've done it so gosh darn much.
Okay, but Alpal, I work full time, I have a family, and I maybe have 1 hour a week, and that hour always changes when I can work. How do I stay disciplined, motivated, planned through that time?
That's a good question. Well, it kind of depends on where you are in your, hobby at this point. It would be, you need to decide when you're going to source and where you're going to source at what time. And it might change from week to week. Maybe you have a ton of inventory that needs listing. Maybe you go, okay, for the next week, I'm not going out and sourcing. I'm not going out anywhere. I'm just going to list all my dead inventory. And that might have to be the first 5 minutes of that hour that you have to plan and to think of what you need to do. It might feel like a waste of time, but we do that all the time here, where yes, you can always do something that makes more sense money-wise, like cleaning. Cleaning is a huge one for us that we sometimes slack on because we could always be making more money. But having a clean environment, which obviously you can see,
I mean, it's better than it was.
it's better, but sometimes the barn
We have
downstairs
3
can be
earphones on
really
the couch.
cluttered, and it can start getting stressful. You're tripping over boxes, and when we have a clean environment to work in, everything runs more smoothly. It gets more efficient, and that's just something we have to do to keep things flowing, and again, to not get that burnout. So you might have to just spend some of that time planning and strategizing how to make that happen.
As you guys can probably tell, there's a lot that goes through our minds on these topics, so we might bring back some of our like old style Q&A videos where you guys just ask us questions. If you guys want to get a hold of us directly, the best way to do that is over in the Discord. You can DM us right there. You have access to us. $3 a month. You can message anyone here on staff, and you're kind of our first priority when it comes to answering questions. If we don't get back to you for whatever reason, there's an awesome community where in a lot of cases they know a lot more than us. We're just 6 minds in the reselling business of video games on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's people that have stores that have tons of experience that we don't have that you can get a lot of insight from. It's $3 a month, so consider joining. But if you guys have questions, let us know. If you have any comments, we just want to hear what you guys have to say about this video. We love hearing from you guys, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye now.